In addition to being the fifth degree title, or the title of the fifth degree Satanist in the Temple of Set, MAGA is the feminine form of Magus. Scarlet hat has some nice Whore of Babylon connections we could get into. You know the whole thing about the Whore of Babylon. Babylon is fallen. Hey, make America great again. Make Babylon great again because it's fallen. Scarlet across her brow. Scarlet hat across his brow. With her sorceries, she deceives the world with his Operation Warp Speed, his sorceries, again, pharmaca, sorcery. It's all symbolic. But I think it's pretty clear that it was the power of fashion that spread the MAGA movement, just as it was the power of fashion that spread the what was it? It was some kind of pandemic, was it hypochondria, where everybody thought they were sick, and it was spread with the mask, PPE fashion, masks of the beast, as Salty Siren says. Yep, everybody put on the mask of the beast. Now, the AI God is next, and I saw this in the predictive programming when the elite gathered around the digital monolith that I think replaces the Georgia Guidestones. And listen to this. So here's Musk. He's on Tucker Carlson. And Tucker says, do you think it's conceivable that AI could take control and reach a point that you couldn't turn it off and it would be making decisions for people? And Musk says, yeah, absolutely. That's where things are headed for sure. Very, very interesting. Now, the FTC warns that scammers may clone your relatives' voices. That's a new one. When the scammer calls you, he will sound just like your loved one. Deep fakes. But who answers the phone anymore? The only time I answer the phone is when I want to troll a telemarketer. That's pretty much it. And most of them aren't even fun anymore. It used to be fun when they're Americans because they're bound by our laws. They can only call during certain hours. They're allowed a certain number of rebuttals. Their calls are recorded. And if they engage in any kind of rudeness, they get fired. There used to be standards back when I was a telemarketer. But now they outsource. And whoever they outsource it to, you'll never find them. They're not bound by any rules. And they don't play along, and if they know you're not going to buy, they just hang up on you. Like, the telemarketers are too rude to have fun with. But like I said here, nobody answers, so I don't know who this is going to affect. I used to say to every telemarketer that would call in, yeah, I really want to buy what you're offering, and I want to make sure you get a big commission, but I need you to know that there's no such thing as pandemics and the earth is flat and everybody's lied to you about the news, because and by that time they're usually hanging up on me. Salty Siren says, I saw a lady on the news saying they cloned her daughter's voice and asked for ransom. Wow, they shouldn't have published that. That's like a pretty believable thing. Jumper67 Bear says, hello my ninjas, thanks for joining. A scammer sounding like a loved one. Now, I don't see that working like broadly, but in a targeted way, I could see that working because I've spoofed emails. That's how I got a confessional out of the guy that I'm suing. Like, I might actually have a use for this, and I'm not a scammer, but I might be able to use this now that I think about it. So I'm going to bookmark that article. It's from futurism.com. FTC warning, the scanners are cloning your relative's voice to steal your money. The public voice cloning scams is on the rise. Salty says, elderly would buy it for sure. Yeah, sadly. In fact, that's why I quit telemarketing. I was working for DirecTV, selling garbage propaganda, and I was the only person in the training class. There's like 60 of us there. And they're like, yeah, we have a satellite up there. It's geostationary, and it beams everybody these great movies that you're going to be selling. And I'm just in the back like, oh, yeah. I guess I'm the only one here that knows that it's a balloon, if anything. But I quit working there because I wasn't doing telemarketing. I was doing retention somewhere like in India, and their accents were difficult for people above a certain age to understand. And consequently, they were agreeing to free. They understood the word free. So like, yeah, I agree. Well, they were getting a free trial for 3 months. And then they call me. Like, hey, 3 months ago, somebody called, I couldn't understand him, and my free trials now resulted in he took a bunch of money from me. And my job was to convince them to watch what they bought rather than get a refund. So I'm talking to someone who can't afford it. And I'm like, yeah, no, I think you really need to watch Spacey. You need more Kevin Spacey in your life. I just couldn't do it because I knew they were being slammed. I knew they were being illegally signed up for things. And what I would generally do is I would give them credits and I would help them. And that caused problems with my employer. You're not supposed to give away credits. Oh, really? Yep. Ms. L says, concur. My mother cannot understand. Yeah, look, that's the thing. The accents, I mean, I'm used to a lot of them. But I just noticed there's people of a certain age who had their income in a form of like Social Security, and they're waiting for their monthly income. And now it's been compromised by TV shows that have nothing to do with them. We're talking about cinema. What are these different Stars? Was one of the ones at Showtime. Anyway, moving on. That was my last telemarketing gig because look, I think as a sales, when you get into sales, I don't think sales involves, I guess, ripping people off or tricking or neuro-linguistic programming. Sales is just a matter of facilitating a purchase to somebody who would want the thing that you're selling. And it's more a matter of sussing the interested, you have to find who's actually interested, and you just separate those and you hang up on the people who don't care. You get to the sales. But when they employ dirty tricks, it just takes the fun out of it. All right, continuing here. The Buffalo Shooter. Why do I have this marked? Oh, yes. The Buffalo Shooter had a symbol on his chest, and it was used in a battalion in Ukraine, but it's the Black Sun. I brought that up because I'm looking into this documentary coming out, this new Flat Earth documentary by Hibbler. And Hibbler has that same symbol on all of his movies, which I don't know what to make of it, other than the media finds symbols that are associated with any group they want to attack, and they just put it on their killers, their fake shooters. Oh, you're into this. Now you're negatively branded. Salty says, I thought you said Hitler. Yeah, that's another thing too. Alex Jones, Bill Hicks, and he joked about himself being Bill Hicks the other day. He was saying Hail Hitler. Like, they kept joking on it. And I thought, okay, you're saying Hail Hitler, you got a black sun, and you got this shooter at a supermarket who's blaming his crimes on Discord servers and Tucker Carlson, and he's got that symbol on his chest. Just guilt by association. But the thing is, the media knows the power of imagery, of symbolism, and they put it out there. Like I was saying about the Saturday Night Live skit with Donald Trump as Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's building on to their meta-narrative, and that's what they do all the time. They've already, ever since Eric Dubay, they've already associated Flat Earth with Hitler for some weird reason. And to me, it makes zero sense, because the people who actually look into the Flat Earth thing are like, wait, the media is used to control us. The politicians are all puppets. The last thing you would do is be like, oh, we need more politicians like that guy. It's non sequitur. I would imagine that post-Flat Earth would be post-politics. It would almost be certain. Romanian Black Sea port shipped 3.33 million tons of Ukrainian grain in Q1. Ukraine shipped 3.33 million tons of grain through the Romanian Black Sea port of Constanta in this platform. And one thing he did say, because he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything wrong. He was just, I guess, attacked because of his. This is not an American first thing. That this grooming circle, he claims it's all over the Republicans, and he pointed out Turning Point USA. Like I said, it's a circular firing squad, but it's the entire party. And that's why I don't want to comment too much more on it until later today, because there's more to come, I'm sure of it. I've been keeping up with the Fox News Dominion trial We'll see where that goes. Again, about January 6th, 1.6 billion. Ultimately, it's going to be, I think, an attack on free speech. And people will cheer. People who hate Fox will cheer fear for it. They'll say, yeah, bring down Fox. Well, guess what? If not equally bad, it's worse. When it comes to fake news, manipulation, mind war, and PSYOP. They're both part of the PSY war. And what they're getting us to acquiesce to is more regulation, more control. This is the reason for Musk and his conversations about AI and this